The Hall of Judgment was carved from black stone, its ceiling so high the torches seemed like distant stars. Hundreds of alien eyes glowed in the shadows, watching, whispering, savoring his downfall. Irwin stood alone at the center platform, shackled, his uniform torn but his spine unbent. The High Council arose, her voice cold as steel. You defied orders. You risked the fleet. And for what? To save a transport of civilians not even your species. Tell me, human, what makes your disobedience worth the lives we lost? The words cut, but Irwin didn't flinch. Because those people mattered, and because your war isn't worth more than their children. The chamber erupted with gasps. The council didn't want truth. They wanted obedience. His answer sealed his fate. The crowd jeered. Some demanded his execution, but the council had a cooler verdict prepared. Execution would be mercy, the High Counselor hissed. Instead, you will be cast onto Vena 9, the Beast World, a place where no soldier survives, where death comes not in days but in hours. Even the gods shifted uncomfortably. The planet's name alone sent shivers. Vena 9 was whispered like a curse, corrosive air, hunting packs larger than tanks, rivers that boiled with venom. It was a death sentence disguised as exile. Irwin raised his chin. So that's it. No trial. No defense. Just theater. He laughed, bitter but unbroken. Then at least call it what it is. You're afraid. Afraid that one human proved braver than your entire council. A murmur of outrage swept the chamber. Shackles yanked him forward as soldiers dragged him toward the transport bay. From the crowd, someone threw a piece of shattered metal. It clanged against his chains. Irwin didn't look back. He wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing fear in his eyes. In the hangar, the prison ship hummed like a coffin waiting to close. As they forced him inside, he muttered under his breath, half prayer, half promise. If I make it back, none of you will ever forget my name. The hatch sealed. Engines roared. And the galaxy turned its gaze away, certain the human would vanish into the maw of Vena 9, never to return. But Irwin wasn't done. Not yet. The dropship screamed through poisonous clouds, rattling as if the planet itself wanted to shake it apart. Lightning forked sideways, not down, carving cracks of violet fire across the sky. Irwin braced against the restraints, counting the seconds until impact. When the craft slammed into the surface, metal tore like paper. He crawled from the wreckage into air that burned his lungs. The atmosphere was a soup of toxins. Each breath tasted like acid. His visor flickered red warnings, oxygen at critical levels. He tore loose a filter pack from the emergency kit, strapping it across his face before blacking out. The ground was alive. Mud bubbled and popped, releasing streams of yellow gas that slithered upward like snakes. Trees, if they could be called trees, twisted from the soil with bark that dripped sap thick as blood. Every sound carried menace, distant roars, chitting echoes, the thrum of wings from creatures unseen. Irwin forced himself forward, dragging what supplies he could salvage, a half-functioning plasma knife, one ration pack, and a cracked wristcom that only played static. He needed shelter before nightfall. He'd heard rumors. On Vena 9, night didn't just belong to predators. Night was a predator. Hours bled away as he staggered through jagged terrain. Once, the ground split beneath his boots, revealing a nest of insectoid monsters with mandibles like swords. He hurled a flare into the fissure, the blaze scattering them just long enough for him to climb free. By dusk, the sky shifted to a bruised crimson. He found a hollow beneath a ridge and collapsed, chest heaving, the weight of silence pressing in. For a moment, he thought of the council's smug faces, their certainty he'd die here. Rage kept his eyes open. Rage, and the memory of those civilians he'd saved. If he gave up now, their survival meant nothing. The ridge trembled. A low growl vibrated the stones. Irwin froze, hand tightening on the plasma knife. From the shadows beyond the ridge, something stirred, a shape too massive to be real, eyes burning like embers in the dark. The legends of Vena 9 spoke of the apex, a beast that no army had ever slain, and now its breath steamed inches from his face. The ridge split open as the creature emerged fully, its silhouette blotting out the dying light. Irwin had seen war machines the size of fortresses, but nothing compared to this. Its hide looked forged from volcanic rock, layered with scars that glowed faintly like magma veins. Each breath rumbled through the earth. He didn't run. There was nowhere to go. Instead, he slowly raised a plasma knife, knowing it was useless but unwilling to die kneeling. The beast's eyes tracked the motion, amber, intelligent, furious. When it stepped forward, the ground caved beneath one massive claw, scattering shards of black stone. A sound rolled from its chest, not a roar, not a snarl. Something like recognition. Irwin's instinct screamed at him to strike, but something kept his hand steady. Maybe it was delirium. Maybe it was a fact he'd already been sentenced to die once. He tried to move sideways, slow and controlled, testing its reaction. The beast's head lowered, nostril flaring as it dragged in the scent of blood and alien metal. Without warning, a second threat arrived. The sky split with a screech of winged predators descending in a coordinated swarm. Their bodies were long and skeletal, spines razor-sharp, wings beating in sickening rhythm. They dove toward Irwin, not the apex. He ducked, slashing one midair. The plasma blade sputtered but carved through its chest, spilling fluid that hissed on contact with the ground. 3 more closed in. Before they reached him, the apex moved. One swipe of its forelimb shattered 2 predators mid-flight. Another lunged at Irwin from behind, but the beast caught it in its jaws and crushed it like dry bark. The swarm scattered, spiraling upward, unwilling to challenge the giant. Irwin stared, chest heaving. The apex stared back. Not as prey, not as threat. It's Saturday. The earth groaned under its weight. Irwin blinked. He'd expected to be torn apart, not studded. A wind swept across the ridge, carrying the scent of ash and ozone. The beast lowered its head, not in submission, but invitation, its massive neck turning slightly, exposing a ridge of bone and horn near the crest. Every survival instinct told him to back away, but curiosity and something darker pushed him closer. He reached out a hand. The apex didn't strike. It rumbled, low and ancient, as though acknowledging a pact no word could name. Irwin didn't sleep that night. He stayed near the apex, unsure whether he'd gained a guardian or delayed his death. The creature rested but never fully stilled. Its ears twitched at every distant shriek. When the toxic wind rose, it shifted its body to shield him instinctively. That was the moment he knew this wasn't random. Something had bound it to him. At dawn, he followed it. The terrain changed as they traveled. What looked like wasteland from a distance revealed a network of canyons split by rivers of black water. Metallic vines grew in tangles across the cliffs, humming with a strange low-frequency pulse. The beast moved with practiced familiarity, pausing only when Irwin struggled to descend a jagged slope. They reached a cavern mouth half buried beneath collapsed stone. The apex lowered its head and vanished inside. Irwin hesitated only a second before entering. Bioluminescent fungi glowed along the walls, casting green light over spiraling tunnels. Deeper in, the air was breathable, warm, almost engineered. He heard voices. Not human, yet unmistakably language. Irwin crouched behind an outcrop, eyes adjusting to the chamber ahead. Shapes moved in the glow, humanoids, but altered by the planet. Their skin bore mineral patterns, their movements efficient and silent. Some carried tools carved from beast bone and crystal. Others tended to machinery etched with symbols older than any empire. One of them saw him. She moved like a soldier but spoke like someone expecting him. "You're late," she said in clipped Galactic standard. Irwin blinked. Before he could respond, the apex emerged behind him and huffed. The others didn't flee. They bowed their heads, respectful, not afraid. The woman approached. She had dark, weather-worn features and eyes that burned with calculation. The beast chose you. That hasn't happened in generations. She circled him once, assessing him like a weapon. What did they send you here for? Punishment? Disposal? Irwin didn't bother to hide the truth. The council wanted me dead. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The woman's jaw tightened. Then their mistake is our chance. He frowned. Our. She gestured deeper into the cavern. Rows of survivors, human, hybrid, and alien, appeared from the shadows. Not prisoners, not savages, refugees, soldiers, scientists, exiles, people the Imperium had discarded. We are the unforgotten, she said. And with the apex at your side, the empire that buried us will finally tremble. Erwin followed the woman, who finally introduced herself as Kale, deeper into the underground city carved into the planet's bones. What he first took for caves were structured holes reinforced with scavenged alloys and cracked starship plating. Generators hummed beneath the floor, powered by geothermal vents and something far older than tech. Erwin passed clusters of children learning battle drills beside elders repairing plasma rifles older than the Imperium's current fleet. Maps etched into stone depicted not just the surface of Vena 9, but tunnels stretching beneath half a world. This wasn't a camp. It was a civilization the Empire pretended didn't exist. Kale led him to a circular chamber dominated by a table built from the shell of some colossal creature. Holograms flickered to life above it, displaying supply routes, ship schematics, and outpost grids. "You think the Council sent you here to die," she said without looking at him. "But they sent us a weapon." Erwin crossed his arms. "I didn't come here to lead your war." "That's because you still think it's theirs," she replied. "Look around you. These are the people they raise, whistleblowers, defectors, soldiers who save the wrong lives. The Imperium hides its mistakes behind planets like this." The apex settled at Erwin's side, its tail thudding once like punctuation. Kale eyed the beast with something bordering on awe. "It bonded with you by choice. The apex doesn't submit. It recognizes, equals." He almost laughed, but the weight in the room silenced the reaction. Kale activated a hologram of a dreadnought in orbit. Every 7 cycles, the Imperium sends unmanned drones to scan the planet. They assume nothing lives long enough to matter, but we've learned to ride their signal back into orbit. Erwin's eyes narrowed. "You want to hijack a drone?" Kale smirked. "Not just hijack it. Launch our own. A message, a warning, and something the Council won't ignore." "And you want me why?" She stepped closer. "Because when you appear on their broadcast, alive, armed, and with the apex at your heel, you won't just humiliate them. You'll expose everything they buried." Silence settled. Then the beast nudged him once with its massive head, as if casting its vote. Erwin exhaled slowly. "Fine. I'll make them remember." Kale's grin was sharp. "No, you'll make them afraid."